You're just in time. Saved you a seat for the Pillars of Man, your number one podcast for the best conversations you could find aimed at male self improvement. And I believe one of the best ways to tackle male self improvement overall is to attempt to answer this question right here for yourself. And that question is, what does it mean to be a man? A little bit more specifically, what does it mean to be a man in 2025? Kind of lighting your own tunnel in this way, creating a destination for you to try to get to when you take the time to establish your own personal definition of the meaning of man. This is a very personal take on it from just most of my own personal life experiences. But I believe for starters, and I will begin to look at this in a very unifying way, you know, taking account into account all men across the world who are alive right now. How about we take it one step further and also take into account all men that have ever been alive? That's hold on. That's actually a lot. Maybe we'll try to include all the guys from human history that somehow some way got their name remembered for whatever reason. And let's just take out all the fellows that were known for not very good things. Okay, that's still a lot. That is just that's a whole that is the Hall of Fame. That is a whole lot of men. And I want to compile this imagery of all of these historical males because I believe, and there may be more than one, but the first one I can think of is something they all have in common, would have to be the ability to take on, I'll say, take on and accept burden. Because I believe you can take on burden unwillingly, reluctantly, but no. How about a wholehearted embrace of some form of hardship and then the intentional desire to work with it, try and conquer it, go through it, you know, succeed through it, make it all the way. Okay. This is not about a specific goal or outcome or result or anything like that. This is more the willingness to go all the way, okay? To stay on this pathway you decide for yourself that is very difficult, very hard, very burdening for you. This has to be a cornerstone of masculinity because just the way that human beings are built, but especially male human beings, from first breath to last day on earth, just the entire natural lifespan of a male, it has to be it's very evident in all the milestones and in all the way that a healthy boy is to grow into a masculine man. There has to be. It's just simply the way I see it, it just isn't possible for him to grow, progress, and mature properly and improve, eventually reach his own final form. This is the greatest version, iteration. I mean, just the best of himself is, you know, we'll say in between midlife and old age. And around that time, for at least a little bit, it'll be truly revealed what the greatest version of him looks like. To try to get there, you need burden. You have to have challenge. And challenge most often appears to you and me as our own individual life's problems. It's like this key ingredient to greatness, though I am not noting, historically speaking, yes, that Hall of Fame, from yeah, just centuries ago. Okay, I mean, who's really the number one here? Jesus Christ, from that long ago. But then all the way, yeah, up until nowadays, you got David Goggins. Okay, is he even human? And there's so many in between. But that's not the kind of greatness that I'm talking about. I believe any man has the capabilities to become great. My qualification for this, yes, personal and uh, arbitrary definition of greatness is he is willing to take on all of his own problems. That is definitely one defining factor that's going to separate all of our unique walks of life as men. We may be united in very common and similar goals of marriage and financial freedom and a fulfilling and satisfying, gratifying career, family, and yeah, okay, traditional, common, uniting factors for, oh, this is what I'm trying to go for, and this is what you're trying to go for. Just modern male hopes and dreams. But to get there, though, so the pathway itself, that right there, probably can be completely different from what my life looks like, what I will need to wake up and do every single day to try to make it there. And that contrasted with what you are going to wake up to every single day to have what you want out of life. And it goes past this. Even if my goals and your goals are completely different, if they are valuable to you. So if a man is at the very least able to conceive in his own mind a destination worthwhile to him, that this is worth a certain amount of effort, action, investment, concentration, okay, and consistency to get there for now we'll just say an indefinite period of time. Like, as in, who knows how long it's going to take. The real name of the game is, how long are you willing to keep trying until you make it? That is the path. And then at the very end of it is your own personal, well, this is what I want out of life. For the simple fact that you would want that you would even have the desire to try to go somewhere else, bro, that isn't here, that isn't where you've already been. Most likely, that isn't where you have no desire to be anymore. That kind of acceptance and that kind of willingness, that is the kind of burden that I'm talking about. Any man, any man willing to take up his own version of that mantle. Because I could only imagine. I could probably sit here and speculate for days on end of what that looks like for you, who you are, where you come from, and your deepest desires of how you truly want your life to be. That is your own greatness, and it's nothing short of it. It's not, oh, okay, I mean, are is really, bro, is any guy great because he's willing to try? Yes, if he's willing to try for what he truly wants. I would say yes, absolutely. Now, truly connotates that statement right there is associated with honesty. You gotta keep it real with yourself. It's not that you would be able to fool anyone else, the world, your closest friends, family, whatever. It's that conversation between you and you just, I mean, is it even words after a certain point? Is there even anything being said, or is it really just getting down to how you feel in here, bro? This is how you kind of know. This is it. I'm approaching. This is getting a little bit woo woo. Like this is like some spiritual murkiness occurring here. I mean, and that's happening to me right now is because it is a bit difficult to articulate this internal space that you reach if you're willing to dig deep enough. You're willing to ask enough of the right questions. Okay. This is some of the most primordial types of questions, I believe, that it's nothing new. And as they say, nothing new under the sun. But to self-reflect in this way, I'm sure has to go back to the dawn of mankind, since the first men roamed this planet. And really, those are the questions of why am I here? Who am I? As a person, as a human being, excuse me, and as a man, what what do I stand for? What am I willing to fight and die for? What describes a perfect life for me? What can I attribute to for my purpose at 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 existing, at having been born, at having this life in this very specific part of the vast, timeline of humanity? These kinds of questions, now, they get pretty scary. Well, I mean, mine did. You take the time to ask yourself and try to answer them as honestly as possible. I mean, that really does get to the point where um I don't know if I can say the majority. Maybe it's not the majority, but that is just the claim I'm going to make at this moment. I'd like to think the majority of, how about, let's give me a demographic that's a little bit easier to work with. How about, I'm gonna stick to home. So let's do American men. So men live right now in the U.S. between the ages of 18 and 40. Okay, because like this age group right here is closest to me. So that's still millions of guys. If I were to take a guess, if the majority of this demographic of men were to do this little exercise that I just explained, then you, eh, I don't even think it'd take that long. Probably very quickly, you'd get to the point where it's just a massive, gigantic, I don't know. That's what this all leads to. Like when you try really hard. The lucky ones will know. The lucky ones will be like, oh, hey, wait a minute. Oh, very interesting. I believe I would want to be this. I believe I'd want to live like this. I stand for this. Oh, it's hands. It's hands on sight if it's about this. I'm willing to defend that. I'm willing to die for that. I'm willing to live for that. But for so many men, okay, and when you talk about modern male issues, oh, what's up with all the men of today, okay, in 2025, what's up with all these problems that we have? You, you you'll notice that a big, just this gigantic weight of stress that sits on a man, his heart, his mind, and his soul. And it's so heavy because of an inability to answer these questions. Now, I want to be very specific right here. So, not knowing and self-reflecting and introspecting deep enough that you reach a point where wow, I went through all of it. I really have no idea. That's not the final answer, though. So to not know is actually an answer in and of itself. What that would mean is that man is due to embark on a journey of exploration. So now I will try to kind of have my very first point tonight in tackling the meaning of man is to come full circle here and say, if you're a guy that is able to confront the raw, yes, and brutal, because you have to accept this truth in the life you're living right now, however well it's going or however bad it's going. You got to right then and there be like, wait, so I don't know, and if I am to discover my own meaning of who am I as a man, then I need to find out. And that's the, okay, journey of exploration, sure. But if you're willing to go on that, what do you think would be waiting for you, my king? It's going to be, oh, it's going to be a whole new world. This is a completely different life filled with exactly what? Problems, burdens, issues, and just challenge and struggle. But that's so to me, and I'm very dramatic, but I believe this is what I see is poetry in motion. What I see is kind of a beautiful process that is happening by itself in nature, just specifically male human nature. Because as I kind of kick things off with tonight, in the very beginning, I mentioned for a man to, if he has the desire to bring out all of his own potential, let me get it all out and let's see what is going to happen in reality. What is it going to look like if I try to use it, extract all of it, okay, wield all of it. The greatest version, the finest, the best version of him, to try to bring that out. That is not possible without the challenge and the burden. So if you want to do that, then where these questions lead you is exactly where you need to go. You see, bro? You have to go this way. There is no other way. Something that I discovered personally the hard way, the hardest way. Oh, and I'm definitely I'm stubborn and I'm a knucklehead in this way. It just I wish I could be one of those guys that learns the easy way, like, oh wait, I haven't made the mistake yet, but I had someone who was so kind enough to explain to me or warn me or teach me. If you do it like that, you're going to make the mistake. So don't do it like this. But if I don't make the mistake and I don't know, bash my head into it, all right, like headbutt it and hurt myself, then it's hard for me to learn. So what I discovered was you once again, I am re-entering a territory difficult to uh, explain in words, but hey, here I am. Okay, wouldn't be much of a podcast if I did not try, but it's difficult because you know you can talk about it, and of course you can talk to yourself, you can have thoughts, and you can try to process it cognitively with words and speech, thoughts, concepts, imagination, imagery, whatever. It really, in a very uncanny way, it kind of all traces back to feelings. It's emotional, where it's because you feel it, and what you know is you want to. This is so closely related to what I'm trying to paint tonight as what it means to be a man today. This is so closely related because if you feel it, or if you in any way, shape, or form know that you do want to find out, you do want to take this path of difficulty, challenge, right? Pursuit. It's yes, it's self-actualization and self-discovery at the same time. As if the two fuse, and they you have to chase it. You have to chase this fusion of self-discovery and self-actualization on the pathway of self-improvement. Self-improvement is, those are the daily actions, the actionable steps, the scheduling, and okay, Monday, Tuesday, what do I got going on Wednesday? That's the self-improvement. Very, very neat little trinity right here. And you know that you want to. Okay, so the male human condition comes with its gift and its curse. The gift, brother, the gift is for you and me to conceive the meaning of man and to try and find it out for ourselves. That's the gift. The curse is and you want to, but you don't. And that you might, okay, now you might very quickly already see where I'm headed. So right here, I'll just freeze everything. Now, just kind of take a look, bro. Take a quick pan 360 around your local surroundings, around your internet spaces that you like to get up to. Just wherever you are able to observe and see and just okay, this is how I'm doing in life. How are my bros doing? It's just a life filled with everything that you don't actually want. This is where it gets very, very insidious. It gets so tricky right here because though you truly don't want it, because again, this, as I stated earlier, how I started this, it really, you got to get somewhere quiet and you got to dig deep in here. What do I want in life? Do I want to find out what it means to be what it means to be the best man I can be? Is that really something? And you got to figure that out first. my guess, this is just, a personal take, that I believe the majority of men, absolutely yes. Oh God, 100, 1,000, 1,000,000% yes. Okay, but then that begs the question. Well, why do we not have, most of, how about single guys, just like bros and dudes walking around nowadays, self-discovering and self-actualizing through self-improvement. And it gets tricky because you are so we have become in the modern era so conditioned, so persuaded, okay, and kind of lulled into, we're all creatures of habit at the end of the day. And you are continuing to follow habitual routine, and it's so difficult to break out of this mold because it's so freaking comfortable. Like, come on, man. Like, what do you want in the way that you want it? How do you want to see it? How do you want to watch it? How do you want to stare at it? How do you want to consume it over and over and over endlessly? In this way, you and I are living in, you want to talk about a unique, very unique. I mean, well, technically all time periods are unique, but ours is such an interesting challenge, kind of never seen before by the likes of any previous generation. Our predecessors will not be able to say that they, it's not that they don't understand, and it's not that older guys don't get it, but how about, I'll start with the millennials. And the millennials are such an interesting in between generation. And I say in between generation is because, to me, the millennials were the last generation to connect the old and the new, if that makes any sense at all. But what I really want to say is, how about Zoomers and down? So Zoomers and alphas and the betas are children right now, correct? Let me know. I might, but I get the ages messed up all the time. So by all means, let me know in the comments down below. But yes, millennial. I mean, no. I mean, Zoomers, men now, 20s, maybe even early 30s. Um, the betas, yeah, okay, betas are the, I believe, the most youthful of us. These are the males in their true prime. They're in that, what is it, because was isn't it like 18 to 25? That's like kind of when you don't feel anything. There's really, you can kind of do anything. You wake up the next day like, oh, okay, I'm good, and you just do it again, whether it's good or bad. And then the beta, yeah, the betas are babies, kids, all right, approaching puberty soon or something like that. Okay. It's so different when you live it. It's so different when you're born into this kind of condition. Because at least millennials and up, you have a before and after. Younger guys, they do not. It it's difficult for them to imagine a world that didn't have anything like that fast, that quickly. I have a thought. I will type it into my keyboard and I will now pull it up. Whether it is holy and virtuous or disgusting and evil, it's whatever you want. And instantaneously, there is no downtime. There is no waiting period, so to speak. There is no friction anymore between you and, virtually speaking, your desires. So that has created this very artificial, a very compelling artificial argument. Where are you going? You see, as if the pleasures of modernity could speak collectively. Where are you going, bro? What? What? You gonna go and try and find your own meaning of who you are as a man, or you could stay here and just consume. You could just stay seated at the all you can eat buffet of entertainment, of video games, of shows, of um, you know, reality TV, of streams, of content, of okay. I'm not I just want to be clear. I'm not demonizing any of that. Good Lord, look at my platform. But when a man allows it to substitute, when he attempts to take all of this, artificial, no, how about synthetic creation, and he attempts to take all of that and he tries to stuff it into the void, into these spaces, deep, these deep internal caverns that exist within him that were meant to be um, that were meant for him to explore himself. These were spaces inside of him. So I'm talking about the depths of your own mind and your heart and your soul. This is what makes you curious. This is what makes you feel. This is what touches you. This is what inspires you. This is what kind of, fires you up, makes you passionate, something you could talk about forever and ever. You could talk about this until, sundown with somebody. If somebody were like, oh hey, yeah, that, tell me about it, you could go on and on and on. Okay, these spaces within you, that curse is your is we have this ability now that's so, again, unique to these modern times. Never before have you been able to do that so instantaneously, okay, by the powers of the vast space of the internet, okay, in the world wide web. And you choose to live like that. That right there. Okay, if you're still with me, if you're following me on that, right there is why so many of us, like so many of our fellow kings, okay, okay, uh, 18 to 40, and honestly beyond that as well. Doesn't mean, right? Okay, life does not end at 40. I mean, you still do wonderful things past 40. So really, just for like men, so many of our brothers are going mad, insane, absolutely insane. Like there is it's breeding mental illness. And I call it mental illness because it is negatively impacting his own natural calling to fulfilling that predestined path of accepting the rite of passage to his ultimate masculine form and to his own personal definition of what it means to be a man. Okay, anywhere else, right? See, gift and curse. The curse is you don't have to. No one will make you. That's not right. That's not anyone else's decision, even if they wanted it to be. This will always be your own choice, brother, whether you go or not. And if you don't, then the madness and the insanity I speak of, it that's where, guys are losing their ability to even that's not just ability, even the desire to interact with other human beings, you know, maybe mental illness is too extreme of a term for me to use to describe what I'm describing. But the reason why I'm using that is because it isn't here, okay? And it's a mental illness, a sickness of the mind. This is a negative. This is a plague, right? Over time, it's not a one time thing, and it makes you sick because it negatively impacts your quality of life. That quality of life, I'm comparing to the the best of you. You at your most masculine, you at your manliest, you as the greatest man you can be. It's the highest version of you, biologically, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. It's a term, a title I give it here um, on my show is this is the king within. And to not try and embody him, the best of you, that is where I believe this is where guys are going on separate pathways, believing this is where happiness is, this is where joy is, this is where I want, this is actually what I want when it's not. And it's causing sickness and illness. Oh, oh, am I? Am I even a man? Am I? Do you see what I mean? I was born as one, and I have all the biological and physical features of one, but am I? Could I actually be something else? What if I feel as though I'm something else? I don't. Oh, I just don't like anybody. I just don't want to be with anyone, even though I'm so lonely. That's okay. That's just a that's a sidebar right there. And I'll never go anywhere. I'll always stay inside. I'll never do anything. It is not because most guys want to live like this. That's a stretch too. Okay. If I can actually recall these statistical data, no, it's not the majority, though it's still plenty to be worried about, but it's not the majority. But I mean, even one is too much. I'm a guy that believes that. Even a single, male soul that could have been his finest version, no one can say what the world will miss out on. What, how our, how society and how this planet could have been blessed if he had been able to, find his way. So now you have all these guys, okay, that that there is no desire. There is a kind of this very a false peace, kind of accepting. Well, I mean, I'm not bothering anybody. I just don't want anyone to bother me. I pay my bills and I pay my taxes, and then I just use all my free time for whatever I want. And it just so happens that whatever I want allows me to stay, you know, within four walls, in just one physical location somewhere, and that's it. And I'm good. I'm good to live like that for the rest of my life. I mean, I've been there for years and years. Oh God, for way too long, and it is really comfortable. It is extremely convenient, and it is really, really easy. That has to be, I mean, this is a personal take. That has to be one of the most attractive parts about it. It feels very effortless. frictionless. There is no struggle. It's not a challenge to, you know, boop, and then, tap, 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 and then, okay, all right, I'm doing, I'm kind of doing whatever I want. I'm doing my thing. That's a lot of guys say, I'm just doing my thing. I have no qualms with that. My issue is for all the men that are, doing their own thing, but that's not, brother, that's not even what you want to do. You don't want to live like that. And so this is where it'll kind of twist in the mind. This is like you'll get that despair, and you'll get that depression, and you'll get that nihilism. There's no purpose. There's no reason for anything, to do anything, to go anywhere, to become anyone, bro. So you look at the opposite. You look at the opposite. How I'm arguing that tonight is this is where nature would take you. This is the natural pathway. This is the fated, predestined, preordained. It's like the one you should go on. And it's like, oh, who am I? Right? For any human being to say, oh, this is what you should do in life. I, it's not that I want you to take my word for it. It's just, I want you to see what I see, and I'm observing that along this natural pathway of finding your own definition as a man, if that is what easy, convenient, effortless, you don't even have to get up. You know what I'm saying? Like you got just, I got some buddies, they rocking 2 screens, 3 screens. Oh my God. You know what I'm saying? I have a buddy that was like, oh, come on, bro. I got one for work and one for pleasure. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, bro, no, dude, I don't know. I don't want to know what you mean. There's a lot of screens. Okay. All right. It's fine. I'm not knocking your personal, home setup. But what I'm saying is you can become attached to it. Like conjoined twin style. You can be, it's a part of you. What is out there? Well, really, which is the rest of existence. That's the rest of the universe is outside your window. And that's what men are saying no to. Because to go that way is to try and stretch yourself into the eternal. All right. Recall I said an indefinite period of time, you can't know. And that's another thing too that really messes with us. It's very predictable. And that's kind of what creates this illusion of safety and security. Hey, right, the lobby, the match, the game session, the play time, it's very predictable. You can't pause ranked, like ranked, it's like if you disconnect, it's like, oh, that rest in peace, bro. So besides ranked, then it's like single player games or something like that, or if like it's not online, it ends when I want it to end, right? Very, very controlled, very predictable. What the? Going into the eternal space of masculinity and manhood, which is the pursuit of challenging and burdensome endeavor and achievement, accomplishment, and goals. It's the polar, it's the other side of the coin. It's so hard. Goodness gracious, it's so difficult. It's so stressful. Okay, my alarm just went off. It's 5 a.m. I need to do the cold plunge now and hit the cold shower. And now it's 5:15 a.m. And now I need to meditate. Now it's 5:30 a.m. Okay. And now I need to do another cold plunge with ice cubes in my face. And now another 15 minutes has passed by. Now I need to do my 1 hour workout, of of hit, okay, right, or hypertrophy, all right, or whatever, or CrossFit, okay, and then after that, now I need to cook myself a nutritious breakfast. Okay, great. Now I need to get into deep work. It's not even lunchtime yet. That is okay. This is it's a lot. It's a lot. No, I'm being very dramatic. I'm kind of like over dramatizing, kind of making fun of, have a killer morning routine, or, aren't you trying to be successful, Brett? And yeah, no, for sure. I'm not even knocking it. I try to keep up a solid morning routine for myself, but hold on. That's kind of the joke, but that is what it is. That's no, it is that is what it is. You do need to become responsible for, like, when are you waking up, when are you going to sleep, what are you doing, how is your day being structured, what are you chasing, what are you going for, and then freaking doing it. And so it isn't it's it's very simple, very easy to understand for anyone. This for any human being, observing this situation from a third person perspective, or maybe just in the background, staring at you and me having this conversation tonight. Anyone can see, oh, okay, that's why guys don't want to live like that. And you don't have to. But if you do, who are you? Why are you here? What is it that is your reason for existing? Who are you truly as a man? Brother, what do you stand for? What is it that you want out of life? How do you really want to go out? When you are when okay, when the Almighty, okay, punches your ticket, and you gotta head up there now. It's over. That was it. That was your run at life. What do you have to, right? What do you so badly need to be able to say you were able to do? All of that and more. See, these are when men dream. When we would conceive within our own imaginations scenarios and situations in order to attempt to transition them out here into reality, to experience, from the conceptual to the tangible. To attempting to do that that is the best life you could live, because it's the only way to witness and find out who the best you really is, bro. It's the only way. It cannot be done any other way. And I am not saying you can't live any other way. You absolutely can. So many of us are right now. But what you cannot escape from, what is impossible to numb, sedate, ignore, deny, delude yourself from, it doesn't matter. It's just I don't believe it's possible. What you can't run from is the pain. That it it decays you. Good Lord. In the way that I experienced it, it tore me apart. Like, internally speaking, limb from limb, to right, because there's pleasure involved. So then it feels good, and you're put back together again. But you can't stop because you keep doing it, whatever, addiction or not, and you're pulled apart all over again. And it just keeps on happening. A vicious cycle of death. This carousel that's built on a nightmare. It's over and over and over. I live to consume because consuming is how I cope from not wanting to try. Like, you go, you try. Not knowing is okay. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter if it's a 13-year-old boy or a 33-year-old man having these questions and then realizing I don't have a clue. Where do I start? Where do you start is the first problem. The first of many. The first of infinity. They don't end. They don't end because you don't have a limit. Save death. You know, unless it takes your life, then you are a being that is able to try and strive. This is why you're so great. And this is why I'll end on this. I connect it all the way to how I kind of started tonight's episode. Any guy that was great, any guy, like, you're great, I'm great, our fellow kings are all great. They become great when you're willing to go, and you keep going. You keep going. I it's not over. I'm alive. I'm breathing. So I will try. I will try and figure this out. I'm going to try to make this happen. I'm going to try to find her. I'm going to try to meet my son and my daughter. I'm going to try to find something on this planet. I'm going to try to find it so that I can do it, because it's the only thing I can do that really makes me happy. And I care about this. I love doing it. I could do it forever. Family, people, good people, good times with good people. These are some of the sweetest treasures that the human experience has to offer you. And as a man, you can have it all. That's a very bold statement for me to make. And I shouldn't even say that lightly. But I say it. I declare it. You can have it all. It's just you have the precursor to that for any man. And hey, feel free to play this little game with role models of your own. Great men you can think of. Yeah, oh hey, like you, like literally his full name and you can say it. And okay, well, let me does he check the box in the way that Kumo described? Did he keep going? He can, he did. You can too. That's the way. That's the way, brother. And you're looking for a place on the internet in which, a space for you to return to, for to kind of vibe, converse, chill with other men, also willing, right, to take the king's path. Then, by all means, you check out this podcast, because you're watching the Pillars of Man, your number one podcast for the best conversations you could find, aimed at male self-improvement surrounding philosophy, masculinity, wellness, lifestyle. I'm your host, Kumo. I continue to reshape the modern male reality, giving any man who wishes to pull the very best out of himself a way to do that. Thanks so much for being here, bro. You like content like this, hit that subscribe button for me. Give me a like as well. And I hope to see you real soon for my next one. But until then, take it easy. Take good care of yourself. And I love you so much. Peace.